It is impossible to get into a healthy relationship if you don't set your boundaries and standards up front. If you don't do this, your man or your husband is not going to know what's important to you. So how is he supposed to deliver? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can set really clear expectations when dating so there aren't any huge conflicts later down the line. Step number 1 is to be honest about what you want really early on. So if you want to get married and if you desire divine union, don't shy away from saying that when a man asks you. If you truly want to build a family and have a lot of children and a man asks you, you should be upfront about this, okay? So one of the biggest mistakes that I see women making is hiding their true desires and thinking that a man is just going to read their mind or figure it out or we'll discuss this later on when things become more intimate. We should actually have these conversations before things get too intimate. For example, I remember going on a few dates with a man who actually flew out to meet me from Canada. And that same weekend that he flew out, I believe it was our second or third date, he told me that he desired to have children, and I told him I actually don't desire to have children. And at that point, we both decided that it was best to move on. So although we both liked each other, although we both shared some common values, that was a huge difference in opinion and a huge difference in the goals that we had for our life. So it didn't make sense to continue on and to try to make things work if there's such a big difference in what it is that we both expect. So although it hurt, of course, it always is going to hurt a little bit when we find out that someone can't meet our expectations, but that doesn't mean that we have to force them or change them in any way. It just means that we are getting one step closer to meeting the person who actually shares those same values. So if you want to become a housewife when you settle down, you could say something along the lines of this. I plan on leaving my job and becoming a housewife when I get married because I want to focus on family life. This is not something that you wait 1 year to bring up. This is something that you are going to bring up within the first few dates. This isn't demanding, it's actually transparent. And a real man is going to respect you for expressing your desires early on, and he will be able to tell you if this vision aligns with his. Step number 2 is to communicate your relationship standards clearly. Men respect women who have standards, but they need to know what those standards are, right? They're not going to be able to just read your mind. So, if you grew up in a traditional household where your father provided for your family and was that healthy masculine figure who took care of the bills, you could say something along the lines of this. I was raised in a traditional home and I value that structure. I desire a husband who provides just like my father did for our family. Notice how this isn't demanding, this isn't manipulative, this isn't in any way saying that you're a gold digger or that you're a certain type of woman. It's just simply stating your truth. This is your truth. This is the person that you are. This is the dynamic that you grew up with and that you're most comfortable with. If a man disagrees, great. He is going to filter himself out from your roster, and you are going to know that that man is not suitable in terms of what you're actually looking for, okay? So you want to be with a man who is aligned with your vision, and I'm telling you this right now, for every 10 men who are not aligned, there is going to be one who is, okay? So just be patient, continue to state your truth, and to continue to express your boundaries, and you are going to align with that man. The sooner you know this, the better. Number 3 is let your actions match your words, okay? I have seen this myself where women will say, I want X, Y, and Z. I only do X, Y, and Z. They have such a strict script when it comes to their standards, but the minute that they're out with a man and having a good time, those standards go out the window. So you need to actually abide by the rules that you are expressing. So if your rule is you don't go back home with a man after a first date, then that is something you will live by. It doesn't matter if you've had a few drinks. It doesn't matter if you're having an amazing time. It doesn't matter if this man wants to show you the view from his house. It does not matter, because that is a standard. And when a standard is set, it's set in stone. You're not making exceptions. You're not going back on it. And the minute you do that, it lowers your value immensely. Men are going to know that they can walk all over you and that you truly don't have a backbone. All these boundaries are just words and there isn't really anything supporting them. Okay. So for example, if you tell a man, I will only move in with a man if he's covering the bills, but then all of a sudden you move in with a man anyways and he is demanding you to pay 50-50, well then he's never going to take you seriously. So you need to take yourself seriously. You need to actually uphold the standards and boundaries that you set so that other people can take you seriously. Okay, setting expectations is one thing, but actually upholding them is another. So make sure that you are actually upholding these rules. Step number 4 is to observe how he reacts when you express your expectations. So as we all know, body language and facial expressions do not lie. So even if a guy tells you, oh yeah, that sounds good, you can tell right away if his body tenses up or if his micro expressions show some negativity. You can tell right away whether or not your expectations are aligned with his. So keep in mind, the right man is not going to be offended, even if that's something that he doesn't really swear by or live by. He's simply going to say, oh, you know what, actually, I have a different vision for my future. He will be comfortable to say that. So only a wounded masculine man will pretend or go along with your vision, even if it's not his. And you are going to be able to pick that up from his body language and his micro expressions. Now, if a man right off the bat is like, wow, that's demanding, or that's definitely not what I intend, then you will know right away that he is not the man for you. Okay, so pay attention to how he responds. Step number 5 is to be open to compromise, but only for the right things, okay? So for example, if a man says, I want to provide, but I also want a wife who manages finances wisely, that is not a red flag. He is showing you that that is what he expects in return. So there's always going to be a healthy exchange between two partners. Just because a man pays the bills, he might still want his wife to be financially sound, to be financially savvy, to understand things about the economy. And so this is a fair expectation for him to have. So realize that just because you have expectations, there's also going to be expectations that you should meet as well. Another one is if he says, well, I don't believe in paying all the bills. I think women should contribute equally. Now, if that's something that you disagree on, then clearly this isn't something that you're willing to compromise on, okay? So know the areas in which you are able to compromise, in which you're able to learn and grow, and know the ones in which you are just simply not willing to budge on. Number 6 is know when to walk away. So just like I told you in my example, when that guy and I went out and we both learned that he wanted children and I didn't, we knew it was time to walk away. We weren't going to wait another day. We weren't going to date for another month. We simply knew that this was just a mismatch of values, a mismatch of goals, and we knew that it really didn't make sense to waste any more time because time is precious. And at the end of the day, any time you spend with a man who is misaligned is time that you are losing with the man who is, okay? So know when to walk away. Please do not wait years or spend years with a man who simply just does not have the same vision for his future that you do. Know that it is time to move on, okay? And number 7 is trust that the right man exists for you. This should honestly be step 1, because no matter what it is that you have, your dream man, and the list of values that he embodies, you first need to believe that it exists. This is like manifestation principle 101. If you are out there saying all men are trash, all men are cheaters, but then in your list, you are saying a man who's loyal, a man who's patient, a man who's kind, right then and there, you are contradicting yourself. And God only responds to certainty. God only responds to clarity. So if we are over here being confusing and saying that this doesn't exist, but in the same time I'm yearning for it, then it's simply just not going to come our way. We need to believe that this man exists for us. We need to believe that we are deserving of this. And we need to believe that even if we've been on 10 failed dates, even if we've been online dating for 3 years, that it is still out there, okay? I receive messages all the time from you lovely women, and I can tell that you are feeling defeated, that you are just feeling really burnt out, and you are telling me, I have been online dating, nothing's working, I met a man who wanted to scam me, I had this negative experience on this app, and I am just encouraging you ladies to not absorb these experiences. Don't let them live in your body. Just experience them and let them go. Let them move through you. You don't want to hold on to bitterness. You don't want to hold on to resentment. You don't want to have these feelings that this isn't working out for me, okay? Always have the belief that everything is working out in your favor, that whatever you desire exists and desires you back, and you will be amazed as to what can flourish and what can thrive if you just believe. So that concludes today's video. I hope that you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. I am sending you all of my love, and I just want to thank you so much for being here, for tuning in. As always, make sure to subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!